Welcome back to our second episode of Sniping in Tarkov. Sniping in Tarkov covers topics within but not limited to the sniper playstyle and Escape From Tarkov. In the previous video, we covered ranging and zeroing. Today we'll be discussing how to set up some of my favorite loadouts for sniping in the game and some explanation for some of the adaptations I use. Keep in mind this is all preferential, and these are loadouts I have made over time to balance cost, mobility, and survivability. Picking your loadout is crucial to being ready for any situation that a raid can bring you. Being sure that you can engage a target comfortably helps substantially with the potential randomness of the game. In this video, we'll be covering multiple aspects of the loadout selection: weapon selection, sidearm selection, gear selection, and container selection. Utilizing a well-rounded kit and a solid mindset can bring you plenty of wins and survive on the battlefield. So let's dive into our first topic. Sniper rifles excel at medium to long distance shooting, and picking the right weapon for the job, task, and map are all things you should keep in mind when building a loadout. We'll be covering sniper rifles, DMRs, and sidearm selection, all with their own strengths and weaknesses. Some argue that a DMR will do anything a sniper rifle will, but better. And while that may hold some truth, in the end, this is a game that is all about preference, so let's remember that. Sniper rifles are excellent tools for eliminating targets at long distances over 150 meters. Their precision and timing are paramount to keeping the enemy scared to move or afraid to return fire. First off, we have the DVL sniper rifle. This rifle comes stock with a mount for scopes and a loud barrel, while having the option to mod it for a silent version as well. This rifle uses 308 nano ammunition, a solid round with a lot of punch behind it, and I recommend putting a 1P59 scope or a Validate scope onto your weapon, and that's all about that is moddable at this point for this rifle. All in all, a very solid, very good all-around rifle. My personal favorite of the sniper rifles, the SV98 is a powerhouse chambered in 7.62 54R ammunition that tears apart armor and flesh alike. One of the perks with the SV98 is that detachable box magazine, and in combination with the suppressor, becomes a beast at medium to long range, as well as the 1P59 scope. It was made for the SV98, with its 3x and 10x zoom adjustment. This weapon is a silent monster for ranges over 100 meters, do not sleep on it. This 308 variant of the Russian Special Forces T-5000 sniper rifle is one that will grow on you with every single shot you take. With its amazing sound, loud or silent, it packs a punch in the right hands. The bolt on this weapon allows for very, very good follow-up shots when chambering your next round. While I believe that this weapon has a straight pull bolt, I'm not 100% sure. I recommend throwing a 1P59 scope on this rifle. The 3x zoom allows for great spotting, while the 10x gives amazing accuracy at range, as well as a suppressor in 308, although not as necessary. This famous rifle is a pinnacle of reliability. Chambered in 7.62 54R and highly moddable, the Mosin is an affordable rifle and a sniper of choice for most new players and snipers. Normally, I will replace the base stock with an Archangel stock and put a Bramit silencer onto the barrel. Two possible scoping modifications are throwing a Patriot mount on top of the Mosin's Kochetkov mount with a 1P59 on top. Yes, I know I use the 1P59 a lot. It's a solid scope with its zoom options, but you can always substitute this scope with a Validate. It's all preference. Take a tri-rail mount with a Validate on top for another possible Mosin mod. The Remington 700 is a beast of firepower, sporting a solid base of modifications and decent base stats to allow for accurate shots up to 800 meters and with the NATO 300 ammunition. While there are a few options to swap out the body and the stock of the weapon, normally I will roll with the ghillie stock, attaching a 1P59 or a Validate onto the Remington's Weaver mount, along with a Gemtech suppressor. Do not forget the muzzle attachment for the suppressor if you choose to not go loud. A very simple, effective rifle that won't burn a hole in your pocket. Designated Marksmen rifles are extremely effective rifles at medium or longer ranges, overpowering a target with accurate fire outside of their effective or comfortable ranges, with semi or even automatic fire up to 150 meters or longer. The M1A is a semi-auto rifle chambered in 308 NATO, an amazing weapon in the right hands with an assortment of mods. I would normally run loud or silent depending on the circumstances I'm sending my PMC into, throwing a suppressor on if I'm sure my engagements will be at longer ranges. For a loud loadout, I recommend a stock M1A or a SAS M1A with an EOTech HHS sight. This sight has a flip over with enhanced zoom for longer shots if needed. For a silent loadout, I would recommend a Validate sight onto an M14 mount, with a Gemtech suppressor on the barrel for dispatching any target from longer distances without being detected. This rifle is a very good choice for people looking for a cheap DMR. The SVD can deliver a 54-hour bullet at up to 800 meters. This well-known rifle is super reliable and controllable at most ranges. Two normal setups I use are a stock SVD with a mounted PSO scope, or the new free float chassis with the Valde mounted on, along with the new rotor suppressor. Not much to say here other than the SVD being a beast of a weapon. Because of the similarities, I've combined the RSAS and the SR25 rifles into one single point. These two rifles are chambered in .308 NATO and offer decent recoil controllability with the right mods, loud or silent. For both of these rifles, I suggest using an EOTech HHS or Valde scope to allow medium range acquisition, with a Cobra or RK1 grip as well. The RK1 offers less percent for recoil but has no negative effect on ergonomics. While the TX15 is an assault rifle, I decided to include this into the DMR section. A very solid, easily modifiable weapon, the TX15 is chambered in .556, which offers very little drop with its 875 to 1000 meter a second bullet velocity. There's not much to say here. Buy the TX15 from skier level 3, throw on the grip of your choice, and go to town. I suggest throwing a holographic sight or a low zoom scope for best results at closer to medium ranges. This is where some heads will roll. My favorite DMR is the VSS Ventores, a subsonic rifle in 9x39mm. This unique rifle and ammunition is tailored to penetrate armor at 100 meters, while having full auto capability as well. Run a TOS mount on the barrel. You can throw any grip that you want, although keep in mind that the VSS has naturally low recoil, so go with the Cobra grip in my opinion. Next, throw on the SVD side mount with a Weaver or a Monstrum scope from Jaeger for good results. Again, this is a rifle with subsonic ammunition, with extreme drop moving at around 300 meters a second and should be accounted for over 50 meters. Sidearms are a massive choice for any sniper, allowing you to deal with any emergencies that may arise in closer quarters. Most players tend to bring in their choice of pistol, but shotguns and SMGs are not uncommon either. The FN57 pistol is an amazing sidearm, boasting good stopping power and control for even the most inexperienced of players. I would not try shooting reliably with this pistol over 35 meters. You can mod it with a threaded barrel and a silencer as well if you would like to silence your weapon. The SR1 MP is a pistol that holds the ability to punch through most armor in the game. Its ammunition packs a punch and the pistol is relatively underrated. Beware the high recoil and keep your trigger discipline going. The Glock 18 is an automatic pistol firing 1200 rounds a minute at your target like an A10 Warthog. Remember to mod a stock when possible and bring a big stick or drum mags for mechanic for best results. The MP9 or the MP9N are both reliable sidearms for any sniper. Chambered in 9x19 and holding solid base stats, this SMG can turn a sticky situation into an advantageous one. Shotguns are a fun choice of sidearm for any sniper. I recommend shotguns for that old school feel or for a close range armor penetration with flechettes or AP20. Easily modifiable and incredibly satisfying. Let's move on to gear selection, something just as important as the choice of weapon you decide on. If you would like to change your character's outfit, you can visit the trader Ragman and select his services tab to view what you have unlocked so far. Picking up a quick, mobile loadout can lead to effective flanks and survivability in sticky situations, and picking the right rig will ensure your raid will go smoothly. Normally I will roll around with armored tactical rigs, but I'm not far into bringing in armor vests as well. Picking your camo for your PMC could sometimes mean being spotted or not. Keeping your head covered and that shiny bald head on your PMC camouflage matters far more for a sniper in my opinion. Try using the green shamag for wooded maps, and the tan one for urban maps. Another point is I do not wear helmets 90% of the time. Helmets and Comtech headsets will increase the size of your head hitbox. Later on in the wipe, most players will also be using high pan ammo, so think of it as scav deterrent. Normally I level my perception skill a lot early on into a wipe to increase hearing proximity, and I prefer not to have gravel shoved into my ears whenever I wear Comtechs. Visors will also reduce visibility when down, but obviously if you bring a helmet with a visor you can just lift it up. So let's check out some of my favorite combinations. Remember, you can swap any of these out for your favorite or preferential gear. First off, we'll cover the AVS or the M1 rig. Both of these tactical armored rigs are level 4 and cover both the thorax and the stomach. I would highly recommend bringing a face cover as well, or a helmet if you would like. Normally on the flea market for 100% durability AVS, it will cost about 125k rubles. As well as the M1 rig, for 100% durability on the flea market, it will be about 70,000 rubles. Next up, we have the TacTech Armored Rig. This is a level 5 rig that covers only the thorax. Make sure again to bring in a face cover, bring in food and water for longer raids just in case your stomach gets shot out, and normally for 100% durability on the flea market, this rig will run about 160,000 rubles. Now, for another budget loadout that requires bringing in an armor vest, I would recommend bringing in a BlackRock rig, a 6B13, a level 4 armor that covers the stomach and is about 64k from Ragman, and a striker helmet. This helmet covers your head and does not negate any of your hearing and goes for about 55,000 rubles. When it comes to backpacks, I prefer to set up a position on sniper runs. Being in a concealed area or on top of a vantage point, backpacks can increase the size of your body, giving you away. If anything, I would consider bringing in the Burkut bag. This bag has a camouflage pattern and no movement penalty to keep your profile low and your mobility high. Containers are every PMC's emergency stash to stuff valuables or backup equipment into. Containers vary in size and allow you to keep your keys and other desirable items safe if you die, and most players tend to keep different setups to each raid depending on the situations, tasks, or engagements they have in mind. Let's take a look at some of the combinations I personally use for sniper raids. I'll include 2 options for each container, one that requires a paracord and a setup that does not require a paracord. Feel free to adjust to your own preferences. I like to keep a surgery kit whenever possible. A sniper without arms is an unreliable sniper. Keys aren't always necessary as well, although I feel you should always have painkillers in your container. If your leg is blacked out or fractured, you are a sitting duck. When I have 2 stacks of ammo, I will bring 1 stack of primary ammo and a stack of secondary. If I'm allowed 3 stacks, I'll bring 1 high pen stack, 1 high damage stack, and secondary ammunition. 2 recommendations I use to bring in would be a keybar or a CMS kit, an IFAK and painkillers, or if you have to bring in a paracord, bring in painkillers and your choice of a keybar or an IFAK. For those of you with a beta container, I would highly recommend bringing in a dox case or a CMS kit, an IFAK, painkillers, and 2 stacks of ammo. If you would like to bring in a paracord, I recommend bringing in an IFAK, painkillers, a CMS, or ammo. If you choose to use an Epsilon container, I would highly recommend bringing in a keybar or a dox case, an IFAK, painkillers, a surgery kit, and 1 or 2 stacks of ammo. Bringing in a paracord, I would recommend also bringing in an IFAK, painkillers, surgery kit of your choice, and 1 to 2 stacks of ammunition. If you have a gamma container, this gives you 3x3 slots to use pretty much whatever you'd like. Most setups that I see include an IFAK, an aluminum splint, painkillers, a survival kit, and 3 stacks of ammunition. If you have to bring in a paracord, I would recommend bringing your paracord, an IFAK, painkillers, a survival kit, and 2 stacks of ammunition. All in all, finding a comfortable loadout to keep yourself mobile and resistant to whatever your raids might throw at you is a great thing to think about. Balancing price, efficiency, and the right outfit for the job can help greatly with your experience. Keep in mind, all of this is preferential and you can use whatever you feel is important to your survival first and foremost. Sniping and Escape From Tarkov is all about playing to your strengths and adapting around your weaknesses. And being deadly at any range is one of these strengths. This has been Sniping in Tarkov. I hope you find this information valuable to your Tarkov experience and can use this to improve your loadout selection. Check out the previous episode of Sniping in Tarkov, and you can find me live every Tuesday through Sunday on Twitch starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I also have a Twitter you can follow as well. I shitpost there all the time. Make sure you're prepared, make sure you adapt, and make sure you stay deadly, Sniper. Take care.